Hey everybody, Katie here with Omi Crochet, and today we are going to be making this shell stitch blanket. It has lots of fun, colorful tassels on it, which I really like. I also really like the yarn that I used. It's like squishy almost. It's really nice. It was nice to work with too. It was like really smooth, you know, working with it and whatnot. But it's the Eco Cozy by Loops and Threads from Michaels. It used to come in these little donuts, but they switched it up a bit and it now comes in skeins, but it is available at Michaels still. So yeah, 4-row repeat for the blanket. Pretty easy, works up quick. Let's get started. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The supplies we'll be using for today's tutorial are a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and a 10mm crochet hook. And the yarn that I'm using is from Michaels by Loops and Threads, and it's the Eco Cozy yarn, and I'm using the color lavender. And then for the tassels, lots of different colors. So let's get started. We're going to start by making a slip knot, and then we need to make a starting chain of 92, and that's if you're following along with the same dimensions of my blanket. If you want to make it bigger or smaller, it is just a multiple of 6 plus 2. So I have my chain, multiples of 6 plus 2, and then from here into the second chain from the hook, we're going to place a single crochet into that back hump. So insert your hook, draw up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through 2. And we are just going to continue making single crochets into that back hump of the chain. Now that you've completed all of your single crochets down your chain, we're going to chain up 1 and turn your work. For row 2, into the first stitch, place 1 single crochet and place a single crochet into the following stitch. And now we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip 3 and then into the next 3 stitches a single crochet. Again, chain 3, skip 3, and then 3 single crochets. And just keep working that all the way down your chain. Once you get to the end, after your last chain 3, you're going to skip 3 and you should have 2 stitches remaining. Go ahead and place a single crochet into those 2 stitches. And that's what your work should be looking like so far. And we're going to chain up 1 and turn our work. For row 3, into the first stitch, place 1 single crochet. And then we are going to, into this chain space, place 5 double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And keep doing that until you have a total of 5 double crochets. And there's your first shell. After your last double crochet, you're going to come back down to the previous round and you're going to find that center single crochet. So we're going to skip over the first one, and into the second one we're going to place a single crochet. Now we're going to skip over this single crochet and again 5 double crochets into the chain space. After you have your 5, find that center single crochet from the previous round and place a single crochet. And for the remainder of the row, we're going to do what we just did. Into the chain space, 5 double crochets followed by a single crochet into that middle stitch, and just work that all the way till the end. Now that you've placed your last shell into the last chain space, we're just going to come over here to the last stitch. So we're skipping over this single crochet and place a single crochet into the final stitch. At the end of row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now into the first stitch, we're going to place a single crochet and then chain 1. Now over here in your shell, you should have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In stitch 2, 3, and 4, place 1 single crochet. And now we're going to chain 3 and come over to the next shell, and in stitch 2, 3, and 4, place a single crochet. Again, chain 3 and move over to your next shell, 2, 3, and 4, and chain 3. And keep working that all the way to the end of row 4. Now that we're at the end, we placed our final 3 single crochets into our shell. We're going to chain 1, and then into the last stitch, place a single crochet. Chain up 1 and turn your work. For row 5, on the ends, we are going to be creating half of a shell and then shells into the chain spaces. So to create that half shell, we've already chained up 1. Into the first stitch, place a double crochet. And then into that chain 1 space, place 2 double crochets. So here's our half of a shell. And now we're going to move over to the single crochet stitches from the previous round, find that middle stitch and place a single crochet. And now we're at a chain space. We're going to put a shell there, and that's 5 double crochets. After you have your 5 double crochets, find that middle single crochet from the previous round and place a single crochet. And that's going to be the repeat for row 5. Shell and into the middle stitch, a single crochet. Shell, single crochet, and just repeat that all the way till you get to the end. Once you're at the end, a single crochet into that middle stitch, and then find your chain 1 space and place 2 double crochets. And then into the last stitch, place 1 double crochet. And at the end of row 5, your work should be looking like this. For the remainder of the blanket, it's just going to be a repeat of rows 2 through 5. So it's a 4-row repeat, and we'll go through it one more time. We've already chained up 1. We're going to turn our work. So this next row is going to be a repeat of row 2. The first 2 stitches get 1 single crochet each. And then we're going to chain 3. And then 3 single crochets into those middle stitches of the shell. Followed by a chain 3 and 3 single crochets. And then once you get to the end, into that second and third double crochet, place 2 single crochets. Chain up 1 and turn your work. The next row is going to be a repeat of row 3. Into the first stitch, place a single crochet, and then 5 double crochets into the chain space. A single crochet into the middle stitch, and then another shell, and keep repeating that until you get to the end. Once you're at the end, place a single crochet into that last stitch. You're going to chain up 1 and turn your work. And then into the first stitch, place a single crochet, followed by a chain 1, and then into the second, third, and fourth double crochet from the previous round, place a single crochet. Chain 3, and 3 more single crochets into the middle. And now that you're at the end, chain 1 and single crochet into the last stitch. Chain up 1 and turn your work. So the next row is a repeat of row 5. We're going to do that half shell on each end. So we have already chained up 1, a double crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 double crochets into that chain space. And then we're going to single crochet into the middle single crochet from the previous round. And now we're going to place a shell, so 5 double crochets. And then your single crochet in the middle, and keep repeating that until you get to the end. After your last shell, place a single crochet, and then into the chain space, 2 double crochets, and then a double crochet into the last stitch. Chain up 1 and turn your work. So from here on out, you're just going to be repeating rows 2 through 5 until you reach your desired length, and your last shell row should be a half shell. That's what it should start with. And then after that, we are just going to repeat the next row of 2 single crochets into the first 2 stitches, followed by a chain 3, and just keep working that across, and then we'll do the final row. Once you finish off that last chain row, chain up 1 and turn, and then the first 2 stitches will get a single crochet, and then 3 single crochets into the chain space. Single crochet into each of these stitches, and then 3 single crochets into the chain space, and just work that all the way down the last row. And once you get to the end, you have 2 stitches remaining, 1 single crochet into each, and then you're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn. After that, go ahead and weave in any of your tail ends. So for my tassels, I had a lot of different colors that I wanted to use, and there's no real rhyme or reason for the pattern. I did kind of have a hard time figuring out how I wanted to do the color scheme of the tassels, and I did find something kind of cool online. It's randomstripes.com. I will put a link in the description box below, but what you can do is you can just pick any of your colors that you want to use, however many there are, and then you can go down here and let's see, I think I had 15 tassels all together. Type in how many you have, the row heights, random stripes, and generate, and then it gives you kind of a pattern to go off of, and that's what I used to decide how to do the colors. So I don't know, I think it's a really nice tool, good for making blankets and just coming up with different color schemes and whatnot. So check it out. And yeah, so let's move on and I will show you how I connected the tassels. So I went ahead and cut a piece of yarn about 10 to 12 inches, and I'm gonna lay it across. I used my phone as a guide for my tassels. And then all you're going to do is wrap your phone. I think I wrapped mine a total of 10 times for each tassel. And then you're just gonna tie this together. So now that you have your tassel made up, for this end one, you're gonna go through these last 2 stitches, but I'm gonna show you how to do a middle one right here. So you have your 3 single crochet stitches. Here's the stitch that lines up with the middle. I'm gonna go over to this side and pull my yarn up. I'm gonna go into this stitch next to it and pull it up. And now go ahead and cut the end of your tassel, and we'll trim it up in the end. And now I'm going to cross this one over, and I'm going to pull it through from behind into the same stitch that this piece is through. So cross it over, and now cross this one over here and pull it down and through. And then I'm just gonna tie it underneath a couple of times. And there's your tassel. And just keep working those in the centers between the shells, and then one will go on each end. And then when you're all done, can just go ahead and trim them up. So get your tassels made and attached. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.